Bava Basra, Daf Yomi, Bava Basra, page 3b, part 2, with the words Amar le Ravina le Ravashi, Gevu Zuze Umach, see, etc. My, etc. Okay. Ravina said to Ravashi, what is the halacha of money for the construction of a new synagogue has already been collected, and it rests before us for that purpose? Is it then permitted to demolish the old synagogue before building the new one? Rav Ashi said to him, even if the money has been collected, there is still concern that perhaps an opportunity for redeeming captives will present itself, and they will hand over the money for that urgent requirement, and the community will be left without a synagogue. Ravina continues, what is the halacha if the bricks to be used for the construction of the new synagogue are piled up and the boards are prepared and the beams are ready? Is it permitted to demolish the old synagogue before building a new one? Rav Ashi said to him, even so, sometimes an opportunity for redeeming captives will present itself, and they will sell the building materials and hand over the proceeds for this purpose. Ravina raises an objection. If so, that is, if you are concerned that they will sell the materials to redeem captives, then even in a case where they already built the synagogue, there should be concern that they might come to sell the structure for that purpose, and therefore one should never be permitted to destroy an old synagogue. Vashi said to him, people do not sell their residences, and certainly not their synagogues. Okay, the Gemara comments, and we said that an old synagogue must not be raised before its replacement. It is built only in a case where cracks are not seen in the old synagogue. But if cracks are seen, they may first demolish the old synagogue and then build a new one. This is like the incident involving Rav Ashi, who saw cracks in the synagogue in his town of Mata Mechasia. In Mata Mechasia, and immediately demolished it. He then brought his bed in there to the building site so that there should be no delays in the construction, as he himself required shelter from the rain. And he did not remove his bed from there until he finished building the synagogue and even affixed drain pipes to the structure. Okay. The Gemara asks, how could Bava ben Buta have advised Herod to raise the temple and build another in its place, as will be described later? But doesn't Rav Chizda say that a person must not demolish a synagogue unless he first builds another synagogue to take its place? The Gemara answers, if you wish, say that he saw cracks in the old temple structure, and if you wish, say that actions taken by the government are different, as the government does not go back on its decisions. Therefore, there's no need to be concerned about negligence, as it is in the case of ordinary people. As Shmuel says, if the government says it will uproot mountains, it will uproot mountains, and not retract its word. Okay. The Gemara elaborates on the episode involving Bava ben Buta. Herod was a slave in the house of the Hasmoneans. He set his eyes upon a certain young girl from the house of the Hasmoneans. One day that man, Herod, heard a divine voice that said, any slave who rebels now will succeed. He rose up and killed all his masters, but spared that girl. When that girl saw that he wanted to marry her, she went up to the roof and raised her voice and said, whoever comes and says, I come from the house of the Hasmoneans is a slave, since only that girl in other words, eye, remained from them, and that girl fell from the roof to the ground and died. Okay, so Herod heard a divine voice that said, "Any slave who rebels now will succeed." Oh, so I guess, wow. So he killed everyone in the household, and he wanted to marry the girl, but she killed herself. So basically, it's just Herod. It is related that Herod preserved the girl's body in honey for 7 years to prevent it from decaying. There are those who say that he engaged in necrophilia with her corpse, and there are those who say that he did not engage in necrophilia with her corpse. According to those who say that he engaged in necrophilia with her corpse, the reason that he preserved her body was to gratify his carnal desires. And according to those who say that he did not engage in necrophilia with her corpse, the reason that he preserved her body was so that people would say that he married a king's daughter. Herod said to himself, who expands the verse, "One from among your brothers you shall set as king over you," Deuteronomy 17:15, as meaning that he who was appointed as king must come from a Jewish family and cannot be an emancipated slave or a convert. It is the sages who expound the verse in this manner, insisting that a king must have Jewish roots. He then rose up and killed all the sages, but spared Bava ben Buta in order to take counsel with him.